Okay, I'm assuming I can see some people now. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Global Encounters and First Nations Peoples seminar for October. Contrary to what my signature says on the bottom of the screen, I'm not on Kulin country. I'm actually in Leiden in the Netherlands. But nonetheless, I acknowledge that everybody else is on the traditional owner's land, wherever it is that you might be based. I'm really pleased today that we can have Boodie, who's zooming in from, I think, from Ghana country, but I'm sure he'll tell us in a moment. So I acknowledge that we are very grateful to the First Nations people who have supported our work and our project. And I'm also going to extend that to our many Indonesian colleagues who've really supported the work that we've been doing over the last few years. So today, I'm really delighted that we have Priyambudi Sulistiyanto. Oh God, I'm sorry I mangled that, Boodie. He's going to be talking to us about Makassar in 2024, people, places and stories. And this is going to be a reflection on some of the travel that he's done in the last little while, and also the work he's done around putting together a book, which we're all very proud of and very excited about, looking for Captain Boodieman. So I'm going to hand over to you now, Boodie.
Thank you, Lynette. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge that I'm speaking from the land owned by custodians, Ghana people in Adelaide, and also for the Indonesian friends, Assalamualaikum, Salam Sejahtera, and hopefully everyone well and happy in Makassar, Jakarta, Jogja, Solo, everywhere, including, of course, some of my friends in the Netherlands, I think. I'm going to talk here mainly about what is, in my view, going on in Makassar in this year. In relation to two things, I can let me share my presentation here. For those who never been or still do not know where Makassar is in the bottom of Sulawesi Island, as you can see in this PowerPoint, right at the bottom. Selatan means south, and it is important for our works in relation to trying to find out, discover, and learn more about the past relationships that started by seafarers or trepangers who traveled back and forth for centuries, number of 100 years to Northern Australia, up to the bottom, also Cape Carpentaria and Yanua Land, as well as in Kimberley region. That is basically the essence of my talk, but I like to bring you to actually what I've been doing and what I actually produced together with my colleagues in Makassar, which let me begin with some of the things that I like to do. So important, first of all, to contextualize, because many people who never been to Makassar or have memories about Makassar in the past or past few decades or years or even centuries, based from many book-based archives in the Netherlands or in Portugal or in Australia. Makassar today is very vibrant city, as around, if I use statistic from Indonesia's Statistics Bureau, perhaps 1.5 million population. And if you can see from this latest statistic just 4 years ago, is very good one. You can see Makassar is basically city of dominated by productive age, meaning we're talking about millennial, Gen Z, and also Gen X. and that bracket is around 69.46%. So in the next decades, as also happened in other parts of Indonesia, will enter what we call bonus demography, which basically challenging for local government as well as government of national Indonesia to deal with that, either make it a success or failure, like some parts of Latin American countries. Therefore, education will be very crucial in facilitating the advancing of that very productive age of population. And as you know, in Makassar also has been hub for centuries and remain, it will continue to be important hub in Eastern Indonesia. Even in the next few decades, it will be known, or it will be destined for important hub to support the rise of the Indonesia's capital city on the eastern part of Kalimantan. That's another topic. So this is very topical. I have to insert it here because at the moment, as we discussed statistically, the bulk of the population basically on the productive age. Currently, in Makassar is about to elect a mayor and vice mayor. So it's very competitive political contestation. So based from the official data here, we have 4 pairs running and trying to win the hearts or minds of the people and city of Makassar. I'm not campaigning from one or the others, but from the last week results of the survey by indicator suggested that Munarfi Arifuddin pairing with Alia Mustika Ilham gains 36%, followed by Indra Yusuf Ismail pairing with Ilham Arif Fauzi Amir, and then followed by Andi Seto Gadista Asapa and Reski Mulfiati number 3, according to the survey. So a view from Monash, I can share with you, Andi Seto is graduated from Monash University. They're all very young candidates. So it's interesting to see what will happen on the 27th of November. So there's 2 contexts and the current setting I like to begin. What I like to do here is basically to discuss number of issues. One is why in Makassar, and travel stories who inspire me in relation to 2 books that surprisingly appear, one by Plan, which is Jalur Tripang, with group of us in Makassar, and also supported by Lynette in particular, and also colleagues in Global Encounters Monash, and also my travelogue, which basically I planned, but I did not share that plan and publish it with my even colleagues in Makassar. It's a surprise with the presence last month. And also people who are there and places where we went, where I went secretly and quietly when without other friends, and story, what kind of oral stories that might help in the futures. And we move forward to gaining some important information for future generations to do research in this field. So those who inspire me, basically, I like to go beyond what I usually see here. I was inspired by 2 books, travel books, basically. One is about Atisa. Atisa is someone from Bengal who traveled to Swarnadipa or Sumatra on the 11th centuries, searching and learning to find Dhammakiri, Buddhist teachers who then or now live in Muara Jambi. Now is also ruined temples that left during the Sriwijaya Maritime Empire. Second one, I think, is quite well known, and those of you study Islamic religion as well as Western civilization, Ibn Battuta travels from Morocco to China via Sumatra on the 13th or on the 14th century, I think, from Tangier to China, and then came back again after 30 years. So I learned a lot, and I read the two books as way of inspire me to write and how to write and how to reflect upon what I saw and what I see. So the people, first of all, I have to acknowledge that very important people whom I admire and inspire me, late Lily Yulianti Farid. I wrote in my book that because of her, that brought me to Makassar to engage with this topic, which is basically trying to understand and learn about the links between the Makassans and people in Northern Australia. Number two, of course, Lynette, Professor Lynette Russell, AM, whom I asked her directly middle of last year whether I could continue or at least follow the path of Lily, and she agreed, and the rest, of course, history know that I've produced and do something, I've done something with people in Makassar. And those pictures on the left, when we had last year's end of the year party at Clayton campus. And the right is my dear team in Makassar. They're my teachers, my colleagues, and my friends. Abi on the left or right from me in the pictures, and Fikri, Tami, Daus, and Ferdi, whom we travel on that weekend to Paranglompo Island. But 5 of them were very close, and I admire their dedication, and I learned a lot from them. Without them, I would not happen, or I would not able to write anything that is now become a book and other books as well. So people who I met in my book, I met a number of people whom I like to say here. Pak Zainal Beta is a mud painter who every day, have you been to Fort Rotterdam? He's always there every day in his small gallery. I felt sorry for him that in small hot during midday, still there produce something. What my concern was that I went there, asked, Pak, do you know whether you have a painting, a mud painting, which depicted Padewakang boat? Padewakang boat is a boat that they use for centuries to travel back and forth from South Sulawesi to Marege and return back. Because in Makassar, you will know, or there is no way you can find the real Padewakang boats. The real one is in Darwin, a museum maritime in Darwin. Number 2 is another one, perhaps either in Northern Australia, which now is somewhere we don't know, Cove or in Arnhem Land. The other one in Brussels, but we don't have anyone or anything like that in Makassar. So I went there and I asked him, and he happened to be, Pak Budi, I have one at home. So and then I purchased it and I donated to Marege Institute, which was displayed last month. So now we have at least a painting made by Pak Zainal Beta. People whom I met, and I've been searching the descendants of Deng Raka, and through Abi and Fikri, I met them this time. But I'm planning, if I may allow to go again in the near futures, meet Pak Kahar and Pak Mansur, and I sat down with both of them, and I, in fact, had an opportunity to have a long chat with Pak Mansur. Even Pak Mansur gave me a massage on my ankle when I was in trouble a few weeks back. And the other one in Rumakso Setiadi or Yoyo, whom I asked him, I begged him actually I brought him from Jogja to Makassar to join in a writing workshop that helped all of us to understand how to use oral history method. The other people whom I like to share with you is, of course, Anwar Jimpe Rahman, the editor of Jalur Tripang book, the other book that was basically written by group 9 of young millennial and Gen Z of Makassar who brave enough to write about their own histories. And he was pivotal in editing the works, and I must thank him sincerely, as well as to Mulyono. And the pictures here is on the left, on the right, on the side of the pictures, whom helped me to produce the cover of my book. He's an artist, well-known artist. He also display his installation, The Rise of Padewakang installation, now hosted by API's faculty, Arts and Design in Makassar. And the other photos, of course, in the front of Late Lily pictures on the wall. In the front of them, all the authors and Global Encounters guests whom were there a month ago, actually. So it's very special, these people. And then places. So I went to a number of places. I like to share with you, of course, Fort Rotterdam. Those who've been to Fort Rotterdam, of course, we very lucky to have this site that is still good and very important to understanding the past. However, of course, still not much collections on the Tripang or Jalur Tripang or Tripang links that I've been talking about. Primarily, I guess, because the history of Tripang is basically history of the so-called in the historian or historiography field, people without history. They're just pelaut, seafarers, and ordinary people who travel back and forth from South Sulawesi. But I think in the future, we should aspire to have a museum or a place where those history of these people without history that known very well in this particular topic will be displayed, I hope, in the future. Sombaon Phuket is an important part because 100 years ago, it was just alongside with now Losari Beach, which was very important beach where all the boats, all the Padewakangs back and forth. I can confirm this through discussion and through photographs that I was able to saw myself in Makassar, as well as through number of books that I can gather in the library. Is important because that was the center of economic activity. The Ansar Mosque, Masjid Ansar in Kampung Baru, which is very important because Abi and few others who I checked on the sources, was an important mosque where many people pray and gather socially, religiously, and apparently number of Aboriginal or people from Marege could also hang around socially and culturally there. So I don't have evidence yet. I guess those who can find all photograph of this mosque, maybe in Leiden or in other parts of European archives, that would be lovely because until now it's still important site in near Sumba Ompu. The other places just not far from there is Kayu Bangkwa Jeti atau Dermaga Penyeberangan Kayu Bangkwa, which basically an important site where ordinary people move in and out, including goods and other materials, papers, motorcycles, food, every single thing. So I saw myself even like 3 minutes noodles in big boxes, drinks and fish and dry fish, where people from islands in the front of Makassar Bay landed every day from morning until night. Often I spend myself in the morning as well as lunch or near sunset by myself alone there and talk with them. When I was with my team, as I saw when the picture was displayed in the beginning of the presentation, we departed and landed from this jetty. And on the right, of course, Barang Lampau Island, where until today the industry or small industry of tripang, dry tripang, still going on. And that pictures of Fikri and Das when we made the documentary. Okay, so what I'm trying to share here is this place is historically important and remains until today. We can argue important sites to do further research in the future. Stories. I like to hang around by myself, as you all know, sometimes as friend, but one of my favorite is along the Rosari beach, but on the main side, which is on the corner between Ali Malaka Street and Penghibur, Pisang Epe Mandiri Store. To me, it's not just Pisang Epe. Pisang Epe is basically a grilled banana, as you can see on the pictures, but not as about the food itself. To me, is the site is depicted of the diversity of that place. I can see students, tourists, local tourists, foreign tourists, wanderer like myself, or group of people, or lovers who with their partner's girlfriend, and also a musician, street musician, and also diversity in terms of sexualities. And I had a chat with them. I won't say much, but I've wrote it in some of the section within Makassar, particularly important because I stayed there during the Ramadan, throughout March until early April, until the Eid celebration. So I spent a great time of just sitting there, talk with them. I did not have much sugar, so I ordered grill epe, pisang epe, which without sugar because it's not good for me. But anyway, even there, I had a long conversation about. I know lots about what's going on in the area in relations to, in relations to life and story. So some of the things that I like it is because of accommodating, accepting different people based on sexualities and gender, etc. Okay, so the things that I'm still puzzling until today and always bother me, and even until now, I put it in the context wherever I go, because my training was Southeast Asian studies. Yeah. We were told basically, you go on the ground, don't worry about theories, don't worry about a framework. You worry later, but talk with people, sit down with them, and talk with them and listen to them. And so I spend a lot of times hang around in Chinatown with or with my friends, often by myself. One thing that I was struck was Vihara Ibu Agung Bahari is a Chinese temple, but depicted very much so about the queen of the ocean, queen of the ocean. That was very important is since then, from the 19th or even as early as 18th centuries. Is located not far from the current Soekarno-Hatta port, which is also important port, logistic and also for cruise, but also important in terms of how diverse people then and now who live in there. So Chinatown, in this particular one, I begged Fikri and us, we have to go there to end the docos that we made, one of them on searching the traces of Captain Boodieman. So we went there, but still until today is a big lingering in my mind, the missing link, because what been studying, what been discussed primarily about the link to Northern Australia, but beyond that to China, still hard to find. Primarily also the relationship historically between the local people with the Chinese community hasn't been good, not just in Makassar and other parts of Indonesia as well. And basically it's another topic of conversation. So I'm trying to argue and encourage our colleagues in Makassar, please, we have to make friends and understand and look for sources or oral history of those people whom my grandfather, grandparents still alive, throughout their networks with those people who finance the trips of the tripangers to Northern Australia, as well as going to China. So there is a big question and remains to be the missing link. Okay, last stories that I like to share, of course, kue taripang or taripang snack. It's very cute. It's not like the real sea cucumber, but it's very important because in every function, especially important function official, I asked and I found it and I ordered through Tami for a function of where gathering of a number of students who look for scholarship abroad. Tami bought it and other occasion also I had it. It's basically made from, I mentioned in my book, mix of between wheat and bit of sticky rice powder, and they make it sweet and then glutenized sugar and drop also grated coconut. It's too sweet for me, but I try. It was good. But how come the name is kue taripang? So there must be some reason historically, orally as well. Number two is champa or asam or tamarind. This tree was basically, we found it in Paranglompo Island, where we made the trip on the weekend. And of course, asam or champa or tamarind also can be found in West Kimberley region and also across Northern Australia. And that is also clue important ingredient for future. And currently, I think one of the PhD students at Global Encounters Monash also doing research on this. I hope it will link up or open up more opportunities in the futures for the research. The third one, of course, I'm a bit biased, is the Palumara soup, which I wrote at the end of a chapter on Makassar where I stayed there, the ingredient, how to make it. And I was given by Api's wife, the simple ingredient. But of course, the important ingredients, not just the fish, but also the use of tamarind. And then along the conversation that I had with colleagues and friends, there was perhaps also soup that they used along the trip of those tripangers to survive on the boat, because the fish obviously easily to find. You just grab it. You just need tamarind, and also you bring turmeric, and you don't have to have salt because there will be already salt water there, and then you cook it, and you have a food basically. And I heard it's now one of the iconic soup among other soups, but this one is my favorite one. So even if you look at three stories there, I got the kue taripang, asam, palumara soup, we can make a book or research on how important local culinary or transnational culinary that embodies that relationship. Okay, let me give some reflection, because I like to have a question and answer here, because I have to be humble. I read a lot of books about Makassar historically, good library here. We have collection as well at Flinders, and also Monash has a good Indonesia collection. But I use a different angle. Instead of reviewing previous literatures, because I'm not doing, actually, I haven't aimed to research based on book, but my book here is very much a story of my traveling. Started from 22 until 24, until early part, until April this year. So I use the angle of travelogue here. As if you're familiar, it's basically people who travel, who write and see and write what they see and what they think, and of course have a little bit of opinion, but basically allow their stories, what they saw, to appear. So therefore, I located the three angles: the people who I saw, who I encountered, the places and stories. But some of other reflections that I like to share with you here is that if we look at the so-called people without history, I guess what I would like to do here with other colleagues when they produce now a book called Jalur Tripang is a step-by-step to produce written sources for those younger generation or future generation, either from Indonesia or from Australia. Hopefully there'll be translations that can have a little bit foundations to move further. Because at the moment, with the absence of archives in Makassar, written sources on this particular topic, some of the scholars in that generation, the 80s, 90s, I think I have to respect them. A historian from Hasanuddin University in particular, and group of archaeologists and group of anthropologists have written that. But they still use Dutch sources as well as those in the early days written about that relationship. Of course, the younger generation now can use Australian or Australian academic-based sources, like from, of course, the big name is Pak Campbell McKnights and others, and then Ibu Lennets, and then few others, and you can find easily in Australian sources, but not much in Makassar. And number three, of course, encourage the use of oral history as stepping stone further, looking at those lists of places, names, or stories that I have encountered, or all of us have encountered in this cooperation, can go further. So I was advised by Abi that in the recent generation of scholars, as well as artists, as well as someone like dancers like Abdi Karya and writers, I think I have a great admire of them, and I hope they continue. And of course, the bridging was made. The bridge was made by late Lily, because through her she encouraged all these younger generations to go up. Since late Lily no longer here, I think I would like to encourage to pass the baton to these generations to continue, yeah? Because otherwise it will be disappear again, as what happened since early 90s. That already opened up by a senior historian and anthropologist from this prominent university. But I believe the combination of not just academic, but also cooperation with artists, activists, journalists, writers, it will make the foundations to establish solid sources for the futures on this particular topic will be happen in the futures. Number three, I think we are fortunate in this decade that we have acquired a little bit of skill, in my case, not much, modern technology and telecommunication equipment or communication equipment. So I use a lot my mobile phone camera and digital recorders to record it. I have no confidence, lots of material that I would like to donate to Marege Institute or to donate anyone, perhaps museum Kota together with Lynette's ideas to donate material to them. Because for me, whatever I've done, I will return back to Makassar. I'm not doing like what everyone did. Not everyone, some people did in the past, produce Padewakang boat, but there is no Padewakang boat, real boat in Makassar. They all outside Makassar. So I think it's good in the new generation of scholars or future generation will bring or will return the digital file to those people in Makassar. Last but not least, I haven't finished the journey yet because of, limitation time and, I've got friends and family here, but I would like in the future to go to Mandar and Labuan Marege. I was planning to go there, but just it wasn't, wasn't right time, and you need to be there at least 1 more month to be able to go to Mandar. Mandar is important because it's been produced sail and made by women, and it's very iconic. Labuan Marege is in Champea, the bottom of Selayar further down. The name is Marege is, of course, is about important hub in the travel of those tripangas to Northern Australia and back again to South Sulawesi, and therefore it would be lovely to be able to go to Labuan Marege in the future. I list here 2 documentaries made by Fikri Yatir with the help of Daus, and I was just accompany them to make this film, and link it here, and I think David will upload the PowerPoint later on. And thank you very much, and I hope I've done something here for all of us here. Bye.
Thank you, Boodie. That's fantastic. That's great.
David, do you mind to quit my PowerPoint? Or do I have to do it from here?
I think you have to do it, Boodie.
You can if you can turn off your PowerPoint, if you can stop share.
Oh, stop sharing. Oh yeah, you're right. Yep.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Boodie. I'm before I ask anyone if they've got questions or comments, so we can engage in a conversation, I'm going to ask a really banal question. I missed the name of the mosque that you mentioned, and I just want to grab that name.
Anwar Mosque.
Anwar, A-N.
Yes. So I just make sure I did the right thing.
Thanks.
That's the one in Jalan Sambahapu, is it?
Yes. Sorry, Ansar.
Ansar, that's it, yes.
A-N-S-A-R. SHAR.
That's great. Thank you so much. Thanks.
I think we passed through there. I just
Yes,
mentioned
yeah.
that's the mosque. That's the mosque.
Yeah, no, definitely. I just couldn't remember the name. I missed the name. Okay, fantastic. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Boodie? Please, I can't see everybody. So if you're going to ask, either pop it in the chat or do the hand thing, which I actually can't. I don't know why, David. I can only see 4 people at the moment. So if anyone's putting their hand up for questions, I can't see it.
We would get notified if someone is
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you.
raising their hand.
Excellent. Excellent.
I think Pak Campbell, I think.
Yes, I heard Campbell's voice, but now I can't actually see him. So Campbell, if you're there, could you make yourself visible, please?
Hey,
I
Pak
think I'm
Campbell.
visible. Thank you. That was really a lovely talk, Boodie. I, of course, have lots of questions and comments and so forth. A couple. I think the Masjid Ansar, that's the one in Jalan Samba Opu, is it?
Yes, correct, Pak. You're right. In the corner.
Yeah.
Hari Malaka and Somba Ompu.
That's right. And behind it, there's the grave of Pudu Daeng Tompo, the
Yeah,
financier.
betul, Pak.
Yeah. I really want to enthuse people in Makassar to look after that grave. Every time I go and visit it. And last time it was just filthy and disrespected and horrible. And so whenever I go, I sort of try to see someone and explain how important it is and how they should look after it better. And somehow it's the people in the mosque, I think, who need to look after it. But that's I also, but I'll send you an email about how to get your books.
Oh,
Can I get everybody, everyone who's, can I get everyone to mute themselves unless they're actually asking a specific question to Boodie, please? Thanks.
The last thing
yeah.
I had, the last thing I had to say was that there are people making films everywhere.
Sorry,
I
somebody
think David
is,
has to mute.
can anybody see who it is that's making that?
David, you can mute the
I'm
other side.
trying to see who is.
Yeah, I can't see who it is either. Sorry, David. Okay.
I wanted to say that last week I saw the preview of the Abu Hanifa film in Sydney,
Good.
which is meant to be released this week. It's fantastic.
Oh, how
Absolutely
wonderful.
fantastic. And then there's the other film that Will McCullum's been making too, which again is wonderful.
That'll be on at the Ubud Writers Festival next week, and I'm on the panel with him. So that's another exciting one. And that's a great one to see because it explores the idea of women and the gender of the sailors.
If anyone's got good ideas, there would be a terrific article comparing these two films, contrast and compare. I mean, they're both very substantial films dealing with much of the same material. Many of the same people appear, but they have slightly different takes. And it would be a terrific article for someone.
Oh, you've given me an idea, Campbell. I think that's right up my alley.
Yeah, that would be great. But I just want to get the books.
Okay, we have an issue, Pak Campbell, because it's only if you have Indonesian friends, you can order it through online via Tokopedia. It's a bit like Amazon, but only in Indonesian.
We'll send you the details, Campbell. Make sure.
Yeah.
And
or I have to go to Indonesia next month to Muara Jambi for book launch with Borobudur Writers Festival. And I like to get a copy myself because I only got 2 copies because that was from Jakarta book launch. But Pak Campbell, you just send me email of your address. So if if you do that, if I get the copy, then I'll send it to you for free.
Right.
But I ask you to write the review and inside Indonesia. Yeah. Okay.
Excellent.
That's a thought. That is a
Okay.
thought.
Good, Pak Tandira.
We've got a couple of
people.
questions. We've got Rosalie Trioli, then David Hill, and then Dadi. So I'm going to start with Rosalie. So Rosalie, can you flick on your screen and camera rather, and we can see you?
Oh, can you not see me?
I can't, but that may just be me.
Okay, I think other people can see me.
Okay, let's go. Sorry.
So thank you very much, Boodie, for your presentation. It's thoroughly interesting. And one slightly left of field fact is that I have become quite affectionate with treepang because in the 1980s and 90s in Australia, when Australian history was taught considerably at Year 9, the treepang featured as part of the Makassar fishermen engaging with Aboriginal Australians. So that was part of what I taught and what a lot of students learned in the 1980s and 90s. So I've been able to identify treepang. I often hear, this is my second comment and a question, I often hear many commentators on treepang talk about them being found only in northern Australian waters and southern Indonesian waters. I don't want to sound elitist, but when I have been on day trips to Sorrento and Portsea, which for Melbourneites is about an hour south of Clayton campus, and I've gone down to what are called the Port Phillip Heads and gone to the shallow and beautiful waters of Portsea and Sorrento, the sandy, clear shallows, I have on multiple occasions seen treepang. So is there a species that is actually, are you aware, is there a species that actually can be found in southern Victoria?
I can answer that for you, Rosalie.
Oh, okay, thank you.
They're everywhere. They're
okay.
everywhere, right across the planet. They're different species, multiple species, but they are in almost every water. So they're a very common.
Wow.
They're a common.
Right.
But they're all these particular subspecies of what we call the sea cucumber. Yeah.
Right. So then they would have been an Aboriginal food too in southern Australia, I imagine.
Possibly. I don't have any historical evidence or people discussing it, but it's entirely possible.
Yeah. Okay.
There
I
wouldn't
just wanted
leave
to
much of
check
an
that.
archaeological evidence, so we wouldn't find them in middens or things like that. So
correct.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to share that.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Rosalie.
Rosalie.
Okay, I've now got a question from David Hill and then Dadi and then Abdi. So David has asked Boodie a simple question. What do you think the relevant governments, Indonesian and Australian, at national and also regional levels could be doing to draw more attention to our common historical links?
Well, we've been talking lots about this. I think you all know, or if you didn't know, I'm informing you when our Prime Minister Albo visited Jakarta May 2023 with Minister Penny Wong, actually from South Australia, my senator, visited Jakarta. On the way home, they visited Makassar, Jakarta, Makassar, and then Darwin. So, of course, there is lots of stake in the localities that Makassar is or will be important. And in fact, we have Consul General there. Todd Diaz was also alumni of Achichis, if you all know, Pak David Achichis, and therefore is already on the radar. The only concern is, I guess, on the Indonesian side, the localities, because we didn't have much commons in terms of economic benefits of this particular treepang matters because it was history and not much generating economics. However, the current administration has been aware, particularly at the local level, and I hope with the new mayor that will be elected in November, end of November, the younger generation, as generation of people who I met, they will have to be approached to take seriously and how to use that historical link into future economic benefits for both sides. I can see tourism, maritime tourism, including, of course, educational cooperation, and more importantly, I guess, potentially to open direct flights, which is a big ask. But I can see there are possibilities because if you go to Makassar via Jakarta or Bali, it'll take ages to get there. So hopefully it will be make sense. For instance, Makassar, Kupang, and then Darwin, for instance. So Indonesian will get to stop over before going to Darwin, etc. So that is basically what I can say. It potentially will be there.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Boodie. We've got a question now from Dadi Aduri. Are you there, Dadi?
Yes.
Hey, Daddy.
Thank you. Hi, Pak Budi. Yeah, maybe this is a long due questions. Yeah, we have. I should have asked this when we met personally. Yeah. So, but I think since we have a good opportunity here, I'd like to use this for asking this question. So, actually, what is at the end? What is the main goals of this research? Are you just trying to connect the people with these traditions with let's say the origin traditional, those two people who connected through, for example, genealogy have been doing this for centuries, or actually any things related to Tripang cultures and connects these two can be part of the constructions of these traditions and these connections. The reason why I asked this question is because you know well as well that I've been doing this for quite some time, but not tracing the history part of this, but looking at the contemporary traditions. From this perspective, this tradition is a living traditions, and if we look at the continuity of these traditions, only just certain period of time during the Japanese occupation in Indonesia, that Indonesian fishermen fishing in Australian zone for Tripang stop. Yeah. Except on other time, this tradition is very much a living tradition until now. The problem is now that is the linking. I think that this is the gap also, how to connect the old traditions with the living traditions. Now the activities of exercising these traditions is more considered from a government, modern government, governance, which is considered more as a transboundary activities, mostly illegal, and so it's looked from a different angle, and ironically, it's more from a negative perspective. So I wonder if we combine this through, or combine or communicate or dialogue this through perspective, looking at the historical connections, connecting the old people, finding the old people, the people who are genealogically connected to the traditions, and considering the current Indonesian Tripangers who still doing that, legal or illegally, maybe we can find something, good out of this effort. Yeah. I don't know, but I wonder because what I see now, your research is more on tracing back the real people connected to this tradition, not looking at the Tripang tradition itself, which is very much live. Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
that's clear. Yeah, my questions. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I also enjoy your talk at the conference last month. But I like to tackle the first question, the ultimate goal. So it's basically it's very, very simple. Because I was involved in the beginning with group of friends, which I saw you in the beginning of the presentation, writing workshop encouraging young people in Makassar to write about their histories, their ancestor, whatever and whatever angles that they saw it. So we did it and we went through. I spent lots of time with them through Zoom as well as on the ground. So then I don't want, put it this way, I don't want to tell them what to do and I'm not doing it. So secretly, I also wrote myself my travelogue. So therefore, then, you know, I don't want to tell the Indonesian colleagues what to do, but I'm not doing it. So parallelly, secretly, without them knowing, I also wrote at the same time. So I guess to answer your question, it wasn't much research in a academic way like what we, you know, I've been living in that for decades. But as a stepping stone to share story that I saw in Makassar. But I got your point because, yeah, they're still active. Even the Tripang business still going on in Galesong and many parts of South Sulawesi and these islands that I mentioned. Yeah, still living like what you say and what you did explain in your conference down near Rote and that part of Flores Island. So yes, but I don't want to go to that yet, Teddy, because I have to be realistic. That's what I can do and what I cannot. You know, I'm not young anymore. I'm early 60s, so I think travelogue suit me because I write what I can see and I can share it immediately and whatever people can agree or disagree. So I think it's also the generation of now, if we give them too academic presentation, too much academic journal and, you know, all this book that is very academically important, they won't read it. So I use method, maybe I was at first actually, but just writing in the way that you like tell stories. So I continue that tradition, oral stories, and I produce into text. So I was just, you know,
sorry, Boodie, we're going to have to move it along a little bit. Sorry. So Abdi has very patiently been sitting there with his hand up. So he has a question, and I think we'll make this our last question or comment. Abdi Karya.
Hey, Abdi.
Thank you, Pak Budi. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, thank you, Pak Budi, and congratulations for your book. It just I just opened it a few days ago, fresh from the oven, and then it's really inspiring. And then I think that's it gave us a concrete solution or a concrete way how all these academic journal findings should be presented artistically to the public, especially to those who doesn't like to read, you know, datas or, you know, academic style informations, because that's require different disciplines. But for me, I have to back where my sister Lily introduced me to the term what she showed me about performing knowledge from the Global Encounters websites. So I think that's what we need in Indonesia, with support from everyone here, those who have power with the institutions, inspiring, supervising, curating, or maybe sitting side by side with whatever resource they have. We have Pak Campbell and Pak Dedi also here. So in short, I would say for me, Tripang and then this whole narrative is, as an artist, I would say this is decolonial and then decentralizations, especially in the Indonesian context, because this is about how Indonesia and Australia can be related, and then not really recognized in Indonesian narrative, Indonesian education system. And then I think it's also still overshadowed with the Jalur Rempah, Spice Road. But I wouldn't debate. I pretty much more interested into how important any findings you have as a researcher, as a doctor, professor, whatever, to be accessed for the artists like me, like my colleagues. And then that's also the reason why this is also information for Pak Campbell. You've been asking, what is Marege Institute? Marege Institute, you meet few of us. So Marege Institutes, because of all this stuff, we would like to provide informations from our side as Indonesian, especially as Makassar, as Eastern Indonesian, because this is the story that embodied, but not documented or not provided yet. So we would like to have any approaches, oral documentation, visual documentations. Pak Budi already shown how to do a simple video documentary and then book. That's approaches. Also, Abi, Fikri, Tami, my other colleagues also provide series of projects, including series of writings and exhibitions. But apart from that, I also need to acknowledge and then artists like Zainal Beta, the one who made this, because for me, like Budi said, he's important for me, because if we talk about the relations between Australia and Indonesia, from the finding, archaeological finding, the old cave painting in Maros and Pangkep, and then when the question is, who is the artist in Indonesia or in Sulawesi inherit or have the understanding of a cave painting? I would say this man, because he has he just not aware that how important he is. He just he found a lot of character and then colors, more than 20, maybe 25, maybe more, of clays from all over South Sulawesi. And then he just paint by hand with wood, with bamboo, and then with paper or whatever. Talking about daily objects, daily activities, not really complicated, but his material and then his approaches is really strong. And then we haven't really talked about his work. And then the other artists, the other cultural workers also have a significant, but so I have a metaphor here. But I have metaphor here. Back in time, we have Makassar bring rupiah and then all different stuff to Marege, and then I think now the wind changed, bring back the rupiah into Australia awards, into collaborations, into whatever we can support, because what we need not all only about the funding, but also encouragement, intellectual encouragement, spiritual or whatever, the access to all these institutions, the knowledge and something like that. So I don't have a really concrete questions, but I promise to make a notes for Budi about this book. And then thank you, Pak Campbell, to watch our movie, the movie that you saw with Mac. I was one of the co-producers. So we have also a movie about Marege Makassar, made by Makassar. So I think 3 of this movie can be, maybe compare or maybe give a review. Abi, my colleagues, are really happy to talk about it. Tami and Fikri, yeah, they are here. So yeah, thank you.
You're muted.
You are mute, Lynette.
Mute. Sorry, I was just saying
Yeah.
thank you, Abdi, and thank you. It's going to be fantastic next week to be on a panel with you to discuss Will Macumber's film. I guess we now have to wind up. Next month in November, the 21st of November, Dr. Tristan Mostert from Leiden University in the Netherlands is going to be giving the talk. We haven't got the title yet. I reached out to Tristan this week, and he is actually in the Moluccas. So it didn't quite work out that I caught up with him, but no doubt he will give us a really interesting talk in November. And I'd like to say thank you to everybody for coming along tonight. Thank you so much, Boodie. It's a great piece of work you've done, and it's really important to. One of my experiences has been that I think more and more Australians do know about this connection, and it's often, and I think even Tami has made this point several times, we need to also empower the Indonesian side of the story. So that's really important for us. So thank you, everybody, and good morning from my point of view, but good night from yours.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.